Radio shows broadcast on KYOK are entirely those of the host, guests, and callers who are entirely responsible for all show content and do not in any way reflect the opinions of KYOK Radio, its sponsors, staff, or management.
When you walk out on that field today, ask yourself this question. What time is it? Game time! What time is it? Game time! What time is it? Game time! What time is it? Let's go! We ready! We ready! We ready! We ready! I'm going to the house! I'm going to the house! When I step on the field, I send one message. And this is what it feels like. This is what it feels like. Football is getting hit. That's it. It's gonna be football now. What time is it? Game time. What time is it? Game time. What time is it? Game time. What time is it? It's hot now. It's hot now. Let's go. It's hot. We ready? I'm going to the house. I'm going to the house. We're talking about the Jets like we're talking about the Saints. You know, all this, I know we the Miami Heat of football. Yeah. The bottom line is you got to buckle up with chin straps. It's embarrassing. Yeah. Don't disrespect the game like that. So much crying from that. He's a man. It can be a hit just like us. He's a man. You already make the big money. He's a man. I'm proud when you step on the field, man. That's who I did. When I step on the field, I send one message. This is what it feels like. Oh, my bad. You bad don't work in my world. What time is it? Game time. What time is it? Game time. What time is it? Game time. What time is it?
See, dog.
Let's go, y'all. Let's go. We ready? I'm going to the house. I'm going to the house. It's a wrap. Game over.
Oh, no, game is just getting started right here on the lunch break on the legendary KYOK and the all-new 92.3 FM. I'm AJ Jones. It is our Black History Month and Team Texas Tuesday, and I'm repping brother Kenny Washington, the first black NFL player back in 1946. I'm repping him today on my T-shirt, and I mean it, man. I'm committed to Black History Month. Being from January 1st all the way through December 31st. That's Black History Month going forward. Always has been, but there's some folks that they don't want to rock it like that. They don't want to rock it like that. And the whole, well, what if we celebrated White History Month or Native American History Month? Well, the White History Month is from January 31st to January 1st to December 31st anyway. So yeah. Well, we won't even argue that one. And oh yeah, by the way, you definitely need to do more on the Native American month. That needs to be January 1st through December 31st as well. FYI, while we're talking about it. So historic day. The second impeachment trial of former President Donald J. Trump taking place as we speak. I think they're in the negotiation or debate phase, I think it's what it's called, where they're trying to even debate whether it's constitutional to impeach a former president, a president who's no longer in office. That will be discussed first. And then they will get into the actual trial and opening arguments and all of that today. But it is a historic day, regardless of what side of the aisle you're on, regardless of whether you're a Democrat, Republican, Libertarian, Green Party, whatever, Independent, which is what I am. We've never seen this before. It's never happened before. No president has been impeached twice. And for those who don't understand, the impeachment happens in the House. When they vote to impeach, a president is impeached. So again, I'm not playing sides. I'm an independent. I'm not going to say I don't care. I do care because a lot of this behavior over the last 4 years has been very eye-opening. A lot of what people are willing to allow to be said and done, what have you, has been eye-opening. But when a president has been impeached in the House of Representatives, he is impeached. It's a shame I can't say he or she, but he is impeached. It then becomes the responsibility of the Senate to convict them, which would then put them in a position not to ever be able to hold an office again or to be removed from office if they're still in office. So President Trump has been impeached twice. He's not been convicted yet, and they're about to start the hearings for that, sometime today. But it's a historic day. It's a historic day. And I know a lot of folks are on, firmly on either side of the equation. And I just got to tell you, it's eye-opening. It's eye-opening what people will allow and think is constitutional and unconstitutional. I can't for the life of me understand how somebody can believe that if somebody did something wrong while in office, they can just wait till the last couple of days of their position, cut up, leave, and they're exonerated from any punishment. That's not what it was for. That's not what it's about at all. And I know some folks say, well, they've never done it before. Thank goodness they never had to do it before. Richard Nixon is probably the closest thing we got to that. And he resigned rather than go through and be impeached. And what the House of Representatives did after he resigned was they still said, they did what was, I guess, called a mock vote or something like that. If he had stayed in office, here's how we would have voted. And they would have voted to impeach him. He was at the end of his second term. By constitutional law, he could not run for another term. And he chose to resign rather than face the judgment of the House and then ultimately the Senate. So, no direct comparison there, but that's the closest thing we ever came to something like this. But for me, as an independent, I just think that there needs to be a message sent that you cannot go above and beyond to cause, an attack on our Capitol, our Constitution, our democratic republic, and think that you'll just get out before the clock runs out. It's not a boxing match where you can be saved by the bell in the last round. Let me go ahead and take a break. We'll get back to sports right after this on the lunch break on the legendary KYOK.
Lily, my mom and dad used to fight about money all the time. Then one day, I heard them talking about this guy, some uncle I never knew, called Uncle Sam. Well, they say this Uncle Sam guy wanted them to pay him like $1 gazillion, and they didn't have $1 gazillion. So they called this company they heard on the radio called the Tax Doctor. And the Tax Doctor worked with Uncle Sam's people. I think they're called the IRS. And they're able to work it out so my mom and dad didn't have to pay Uncle Sam very much money at all. So now mom and dad are happy, and I'm happy too. Thanks, Tax Doctor.
If you owe $10,000 or more to the IRS or state, call now and pay less. 800-603-9359. 800-603-9359. That's 800-603-9359. Here's an important COVID-19 school system update for your local area. If you're concerned about your child's education, please pay close attention to this message. The current school systems were not set up for at-home learning. If you're worried that your child may not be getting the grades they need to get ahead, may be losing self-confidence, or you're worried about them getting into a good college because of their grades, help is available to you. Call Grade Potential Tutoring. They can help with in-home or online tutoring and help your child with any subject at every grade level, even for test prep. They're experts in the home tutoring and online tutoring field and confident they can help you and your child get better grades today. Call now for your free consultation. 800-580-7680. 800-580-7680. 800-580-7680. That's 800-580-7680. I am a non-attorney spokesperson representing a team of lawyers who've helped people that have been injured or wronged. Have you been diagnosed with cancer? Are you one of the millions who have taken Zantac or other generic versions of this popular drug to help treat stomach issues? Then pay close attention to this message. The FDA said it detected low levels of a probable cancer-causing chemical known as NDMA in Zantac and other generic forms of this popular drug. They've banned sales and even removed it from the market. If you've been diagnosed with cancer and you've taken Zantac or a generic equivalent, call the legal helpline now. You could receive a free cash award and have your medical expenses covered. And there's no upfront cost to you. They only get paid if you win.
Dewey.
So please call now. 800-251-7816. 800-251-7816. 800-251-7816. That's 800-251-7816.
The legendary KYOK 1140 AM and 92.3 FM. The legend continues.
This is Jasmine Highsmith, and you're having Inside of Sports with your lunch here on the lunch break on the legendary KYOK.
All right, back here on the lunch break on the legendary KYOK and the all-new 92.3 FM. I'm AJ Jones. Let's see. KR. I'll just use initials today. AJ, we try to listen to your show for sports. Nobody cares about your political opinions and things like that. For an independent, you always seem to be in other people's politics. I don't know if you understand that, A, it's my show. B, you got choices. I mean, like if you don't want to listen, you don't have to. That kind of thing. And then C, independent doesn't mean that you're oblivious to politics. Like independent doesn't equate to atheist. I mean, independent means that you don't align with any one party particularly, but you make your decisions based on the best person for the job. So you might need to come to my show and listen to a little bit more about politics than you think you do, especially when you think that independent means that you're apathetic to politics whatsoever. Yeah, I'm doing you a favor, clearly, KR. I'm really helping you out because obviously you didn't pay attention to your civics teacher back in school. All right, that wasn't shade, that wasn't a burn. Those are just facts, and let them settle where they may. All right, so anyway, let's go ahead and focus. A lot of things have come in. What's up, Minister Larry Scott, host of the Not So Christian and Me show? Great show every Saturday from 1 to 2. You got Minister Larry Scott, his phenomenal wife, Denise Scott, their wonderful co-host, Natasha Marie, and I forget the other member of your show, the doctor. I forget her name, and please charge that to my head and not my heart. But tune into the show because it is absolutely phenomenal, and I am blessed to have been able to be a guest co-host. Loved it. I mean, seriously, I really enjoyed that. Out of all the things I've done over my radio career, that was one of the tops right there. So you got a chance to tune in, Not So Christian and Me show, Saturdays, 1 to 2, right here on the legendary KYOK AM 1140, 92.3 FM, and streaming live at kyokradio.org. All right, Marty Schottenheimer passed away. Coach Marty Schottenheimer passed away. Want to lift his family and friends up in prayer. That one caught me by surprise. I knew he had been sick, but I did not realize that he passed away. Age of 77. At the age of 77. So I want y'all to lift him up. 8th winningest coach in NFL history, 200 wins, 126 losses, 1 tie in 21 seasons with the Browns, Kansas City, Washington, and the Chargers. And that Chargers team, he got fired, and they went something like 13-3, 14-2. And they fired him. Been hard to be a Chargers fan since then. I rocked with them when they had Anthony Lynn as their head coach, and then they, got rid of him. Well, I won't say inexplicably, but I wish they had given him a little bit more time. So I'm not hating on the new head coach. I'm definitely not hating on Justin Herbert. I hope he does not have a sophomoric season where people, can figure him out a little bit. Defensive coordinators, kind of come up with a scheme. I'm going to start calling good defensive coordinators Todd Bowles. I'm going to make I'm going to make Todd Bowles' name an adjective or an adverb. Yeah, that they, defensive coordinators, will kind of Todd Bowles him. See how I did that? I mean, when your defense is that good, it becomes a thing. It's like back in the day when people wanted to make a copy of something, they'd say, hey, go Xerox that for me, even if they had a Canon. Go Xerox that for me, even if they had a Kodak. So, yeah, I'm wondering if defenses are going to be able to Todd Bowles, Justin Herbert in the upcoming season. One thing I'll say about him is he hasn't said anything bad about Anthony Lynn, and I've heard a number of his interviews after the firing of Anthony Lynn. So I got some respect for him on that. But even the greatest of the greats have a sophomoric season where, they aren't able to put up the kind of numbers they were in their rookie year. I mean, he set records his rookie year. So, but anyway, back to Marty Schottenheimer. Marty Schottenheimer passed away at the age of 77, eighth winningest NFL coach in history, 200 wins, 126 losses, one tie, 21 seasons with Browns, Kansas City, Washington, and the Chargers. And, for the Schottenheimer family, my sincere thoughts and prayers. My sincere thoughts and prayers. There's another person that I did not mention yesterday, and I want to acknowledge him and his family, and that was the head basketball coach at UT Rio Grande Valley. That's where we have a member that comes on, or a guest that comes on the show, and her son plays at UT Rio Grande Valley. They just played Texas Southern, and their head coach, Lou Hill, passed away hours after coaching in that TSU game at the age of 55 years old. I'm going to take a break. I'm going to come back, and I want to talk a little bit more about him, but I want y'all to add him and his family, I should say, to your prayers. We'll be right back right after this on the lunch break on the legendary KYOK and the all-new 92.3 FM.
Baby, I got your money.
Are you looking for a tax company that will get you the maximum credits and deductions? Or a tax company that can get you a same-day loan up to $9,500? Well, Global One Tax Services on 6002 Antoine Drive is the tax company that is dedicated to getting you your maximum refund. Call us for an appointment or for our mobile services. That's right, Global One Tax is now mobile. Now, you don't have to leave your home. Call 281-377-5565. That's 281-377-5565. Get your full return. You deserve it. You've earned it. Global One Tax Services. Get ready. Get set. Go global.
Hi, I'm Linda J. I recently purchased 4 new tires from OMG Tires and More, located at 3124 Tidwell between 59 and Jensen. TK got me in and out in less than 30 minutes. While there, I got my car washed. Do you need rims for your car? OMG has them too. OMG Tires and More is your one-stop shop for all your tire needs. So give them a call at 832-767-3211. That's 832-767-3211. Conveniently located at 3124 Tidwell between 59 and Jensen on the north side.
Here's an important COVID-19 school system update for your local area. If you're concerned about your child's education, please pay close attention to this message. The current school systems were not set up for at-home learning. If you're worried that your child may not be getting the grades they need to get ahead, may be losing self-confidence, or you're worried about them getting into a good college because of their grades, help is available to you. called Grade Potential Tutoring. They can help with in-home or online tutoring and help your child with any subject and every grade level, even for test prep. They're experts in the home tutoring and online tutoring field and confident they can help you and your child get better grades today. Call now for your free consultation. 800-580-7680. 800-580-7680. 800-580-7680. That's 800-580-7680.
The legendary KYOK 1140 AM. The legendary KYOK 92.3 FM. Two radio stations in one.
I'm Larry Scott, host of the Not So Christian and Me Show. Join me Saturdays for great fun, interviews, music, and the latest news surrounding our world today. We are the show that cares to hear your voice and opinion with real conversation in a no judgment zone. So join me Saturdays from 1 to 2 p.m. on the Not So Christian and Me Show, right here on the legendary KYOK Radio, 1140 AM, and the all-new 92.3 FM and KYOKradio.org.
Hey, you want some sports with your lunch? Well, tune into the legendary KYOK at the lunch break. And I'm Raven Rogers.
All right, y'all, we are back here on the lunch break on the legendary KYOK and the all-new 92.3 FM. It is Black History Month and Team Texas Tuesday. And I want to thank my brother, Larry Scott, Minister Larry Scott. It's Dr. Eve Wallace. Dr. Eve Wallace. So here's the team. You got Minister Larry Scott. You got his lovely wife, Denise Scott. You got their phenomenal co-host, Natasha Marie, and Dr. Eve Wallace. That's the lineup. That's the starting five minus one on the Not So Christian and Me show. So you got to check that out again every Saturday at from 1 to 2. The great show. You'll be thanking me. You'll be thanking me. In fact, Larry, I got to get you hooked up with Garrick Jones. He has some amazing things going on off the football field that I think he'd be a great guest on your show. But again, you guys do what you're doing. You'll need me over here trying to play producer from the stand. So let me say this real quick. It's Black History Month, and you got to get your African fashions at the best spot for them. African Imports right there in the Greens Point Mall near the food court. They've got specials going on all month long. Masks as low as $4.99. Hats and scarves $9.99. You can get dashikis for kids at $14.99 and up. Adults dashikis $29.99. And ladies, those beautiful, miraculous, spectacular African dresses are right there, $39.99 and up. And you can get ready for your upcoming Black History Month program at your school, in your organization, or even at your virtual church by stopping by African Imports in the Greens Point Mall. Call my brother Opie over there, 281-875-0056. That's 281-875-0056. Mention KYOK when you go over a call, and he'll give you 10% off your purchase. Tell him AJ sent you right here from the lunch break. So there you go. There you go. I had another one of these. I'm not going to do this all day. But I'll get this one in. DNS. AJ, I get what you were trying to say to the other caller about politics. We don't come here for politics. Again, I get what you're trying to say about coming here for politics or not. But you also don't come to program my show. Just as I just said to Larry about his show, I made a suggestion. I didn't make a demand. I didn't demand that they put Garrick Jones on their show. And I'm not going to allow you to demand that I stick to one thing or the other. That's that same thing that I often come for people about. And that's, stick to football or stick to basketball or shut up and play. If you haven't figured it out by now, that kind of theology, sports theology, politics theology, racial theology, it doesn't work. It's not going to work, especially with me. So, with all the love in my heart that I can muster up for you, I don't come on your job by phone, internet, or in person and tell you what to do on your job. Figure it out. You can't do the same to anybody else. All right? Okay. Last time I'm going to say anything about that. Last time I'm going to say anything about that. All right. If you want to call me directly, do that. Let's talk, man to man or man to woman or whatever you got going on over there. And let's do it that way. But y'all stop interrupting my show with what y'all feel like I got to be doing. When's the last time somebody called over to ESPN and told them what they got to do? It's that subliminal kind of entitlement where you won't do it to, Scott Van Pelt, but you feel perfectly comfortable doing it to me or Stephen A. Smith or Shannon Sharp. It's mind-boggling how, the majority of the people don't see that. You won't come for, somebody else, but you feel perfectly comfortable and entitled to come for, me or Stephen A. Smith or Shannon Sharp or someone else. It's the problem. It's innate. It's second nature. So, again, wrong person, definitely wrong month, certainly wrong show. Just the only way I can put it for you. The only way I can put it for you. KR, Rush Limbaugh is somewhere on your radio dial. Tune in. Yeah, Keith, I mean it, man. And what's interesting, I'm not a Rush Limbaugh fan by thinking and the way he thinks. I love the fact that Rush Limbaugh, and this isn't a Black History Month fact, and I'm certainly not trying to give him, love on my show. Rush Limbaugh signed the highest radio contract ever. Rush Limbaugh was getting like $500 million a year out of his radio contract. As somebody who does radio, whenever you got the biggest in your sport, your entity, you ought to know that. In your business, you ought to know that. When I was working in finance and stuff, Michael Milken, who went to jail, Michael Milken had the highest, annual salary of a business professional at that time, $500 million. Rush Limbaugh, $500 million. Imagine if I was making half that in this industry. People have to learn how to acknowledge other folks, even if you don't think like them. I don't aspire to all of Mahatma Gandhi's thinking, but there were some things that he said that, I chew on the meat and spit out the bones. Let me go ahead and offend, an entire group of people. You can hate Malcolm X all you want, but there's some things that Malcolm X said that just, it's still true today. Oh, AJ, he was an anti-Semite. I'm not talking about those things. You don't throw out the entire person because of a few bad things. If that's the case, the guy that's being impeached today, please don't you ever bring his name up. The very thing that y'all said about him, oh, well, he makes some mistakes, and oh, yeah, I didn't vote for him to be my pastor. I meant he was doing a lot of things that you wouldn't normally accept, except for he was the president of the United States and he thought like you. I always end the show, but let's not be divided. Let's be united. Let's find something that we can unite on. Rush Limbaugh for a long time was the highest paid radio announcer. I can unite on that. Will I ever go and listen to him speak about politics? Probably not. Will we ever hang out and have an adult beverage together? Probably not. If he wanted to, I'd sit down with him. But I'm not going to just sit there and drink from his cup. I'm going to pour him some of mine. I don't run from, I don't like to talk about church groups and religions and what have you, but there's a group that goes out and they evangelize on Saturdays. I wasn't one of the guys that ran from them. I answered my door. Come on in. If I had time, come on in, sit down, let's talk. I'll listen to what they have to say, and then I'll share with them what I believe. And some of them sat and listened to me, and some of them got up and left. It's called sharing. It's called dialogue. It's called communication. So anyway, Minister Larry Scott, send him my way, AJ. Would love to have him on the Not So Christian to Me show. I'll do it. Keith Hennig said, you could. Bristol, Connecticut. Man, I tell you, you know the deal. And I'll keep saying this, man. I'm not kidding when I say this. If the folks over in Bristol called me today and said, AJ, we want you on the Primetime Sports Center tonight, gonna pay you $5 million, I'm not going. It's the principle for me. It's the principle for me. I'm at a stage in my life and my career where principle matters more than money. I'm like that in relationships. I'm like that in profession. I am at a stage in my life where I don't want to toss and turn all night because I don't like the company that I work for. I got to worry about my integrity. I've got to worry about, what I really believe versus what I'm saying. Great people over there. I'm sure there's some really good people over there. I'm starting to sound like somebody else now, ain't I? There's some really good folks on both sides. There's probably some really good people over there. I just couldn't work for them. Hello, you're live on the lunch break. Who's this? Say it again. You broke up on me.
Brother AJ Ferdinand, how you doing?
Oh, okay, there you are. There you are. What's up, caller of the year 2017? What's going on?
Man, the political.
Ferdinand, you broke up again. Can you hear me?
Can you hear me again?
Yeah, I got you back.
Okay. How could anyone be concerned about someone's political affiliation? If you have an opinion, I have an opinion. Just because somebody is a Republican, that doesn't mean I have to side with them. Just because someone is a Democrat, doesn't mean I have to side with them. So however we feel in our heart based on what life issues we've seen, that's our opinion. That's our prerogative. So I don't know why people always want to come at you for what you stand for. Everybody stands for something. We can always agree, AJ, to disagree.
Yep.
But I can share this with you. After what I've seen after the Republicans, after I was seen at the Capitol building, AJ, I wouldn't vote for a Republican candidate. I don't want ever have any one of those type of people represent me in anything that I do. So, hey, we all have our opinions, our beliefs, and we're not going to agree upon everything. That's how I feel about it.
Yeah, and again, I value and respect that. I'm a little different. I mean, there are some Republicans that have, country and value over party, who are not going to just vote with the Republican line. Like today, it is the responsibility of the Senate and the senators to make the best decision for the entire country, not their party. If someone has done something egregious to the point where it's impeachable, it is the Senate's responsibility, no one else, but the Senate's responsibility to hold that person accountable and to make sure that they can't do that thing that they did to be impeached again because of how it affects the Constitution and thereby every member of the country that is covered by that Constitution. And if they're in there only voting on party lines, then we got the wrong people in the Senate.
Well, we have the wrong people in the Senate, because I can assure you that. And I could be wrong. I want to be wrong. But I can almost promise you that ex-President Donald Trump will not be impeached because of what this country is founded upon. Once I realized certain people, AJ, whether they right or wrong, they stick together. That should be, every vote should be yes to impeach Donald Trump. That should not be one vote to say nay. But I promise you, it won't be that way. And it will be a shock to me to see if Donald Trump is impeached. I mean, I want to be wrong.
Yeah, no, I hear you. I hear you. And Ferdinand, I got to be honest with you. I don't disagree with you. I don't disagree with you at all. And I think that's the bigger picture and the bigger problem. And I think Donald Trump, a lot of folks say, well, he was ordained by God to be in office. I don't say that that's right, but I don't think it's wrong either, because him being in office has exposed a lot of truths about us as a nation that have been hidden under the rug and under the covers for far too long. And I would rather know the dirty truth than a clean lie.
Well, Satan is the God for certain people. The God I serve, Brother AJ, and Color Missionary Baptist Church is not the author of confusion. I've seen nothing but confusion. I've seen nothing but absolutely chaos since that man took off, before he took off. And if he served a God like that, I promise you, I need to stop serving God and find me a statue to serve. So we have our own beliefs, but when I studied so much about Christ, he was so intelligent, very intelligent. And since he's not the author of confusion, you can't tell me, hey, that I serve the same God that Donald Trump. You can't tell me it.
Yeah, well, we'll see. It'll be very interesting. I think it's just a further revealing of what's underneath the surface. And the question to me is not just what happens today. The question is what we do after today. Because a lot of what happens today, and when this trial is officially over, will set the tone for any and every president that comes after that who has the same mindset or even worse.
Well, let me help some people with this, AJ, and I can leave. For those who don't understand, I love Donald Trump. My father told me that I have to love my enemy in spite of. But when you come with an offensive act, I can still love you, but I can still go for what's right. If this world, AJ, don't see that they have to find Donald Trump guilty, and we have some major problems in America. And I know we've been having them. But this will take the stand, and this will take you, AJ, into a place where you know where this country will be going this forth and forevermore.
Yeah. Well, Ferdinand, it'll be very interesting. It'll be very interesting. Real quick, on Team Texas Tuesday, the Texans are saying they still have no interest whatsoever in trading Deshaun Watson. So they are literally setting themselves up for a battle. Will Deshaun hold out? Will he report? Will he play? Will he sit out? All of that is kind of really on the line now because the Texans are not even open to working out a deal to move Deshaun to another team where he can be happy and they can get something in return.
Well, I'm like this, AJ. I'm for what's right. If Deshaun can hold out, as long as it's not going to hurt him in the long run financially, hold out. You know, you're not. I understand he have a contract, but since he have a no trade clause in his contract, and that if that works to his advantage, then utilize it. You know, Deshaun not going to hate nobody in Houston. It's all about business. Why is it okay for the billionaires, AJ, and the owners to be okay when they doing business? But we as a player want to stick up for what we believe is what's right. And sometimes we're on a team that just doesn't work for us. Yeah. It hasn't been working for Deshaun since he's been there. This guy's running literally for his life, and they're not going in a direction to protect him. Why would I say, AJ? Come on now.
Yeah. What's funny is Russell Wilson is now pushing for more of a say in the offense in Seattle, including personnel, because he's been running for his life for a long time. We saw what happened with Pat Mahomes running for his life in a Super Bowl. Man, you got to protect your franchise quarterback, or you're not going to go very far in this league.
And that's why, AJ, I didn't have a problem with losing. I picked the team that I thought was going to win, but when I seen Mahomes running for his life, I'm like, you know what? You know, whoever wins this deserves it. But I'd vote for Patrick again. At the end of the day, Seattle was a championship team. Year after year after year, AJ, they falling. You know, they competing before it's getting right back up to the Final Four. They just don't have it. So if you have a quarterback, and as much as money they're paying Russell Wilson, if this guy can read defense, you need that guy to call the plays.
Yeah.
And that's just it. So if I can better help you call plays, and if it's successful, then let me do it. Give me a chance.
Yeah.
Get us back to the Super Bowl.
Yeah. I agree with you, Ferdinand. We'll see how it plays out, but I think the Texans are setting themselves up for some unnecessary headaches that they just don't need right now. They got to get some consistency, and trying to play hardball with Deshaun Watson when the young man says, I want out, his agent says that he wants out, man, come find a way to get him out.
But look at this, AJ. Rick Smith is gone.
Yeah.
Normally, all African-Americans that wanted better contracts are gone.
Yeah.
Why should I stay in an organization like that? We ain't talking about the Texans, man. We're speaking merely facts.
Yeah.
And if they want to play hardball and lose Deshaun, so be it.
Yeah.
So we'll see what happens.
Yeah. Ferdinand, have a great rest of your day. Thanks for the call. It's always a good one, brother.
Yes, sir. God bless.
All right, Ferdinand, Call of the Year 2017. Let me go ahead and get to a break. The segment brought to you by Lily and the Tax Doctor right here on the lunch break on the legendary KYOK.
Listening to 1140 AM and 92.3 FM, the legendary KYOK.
Hi, my name is Lily. My mom and dad used to fight about money all the time. Then one day, I heard them talking about this guy, some uncle I never knew, called Uncle Sam. Well, they say this Uncle Sam guy wanted them to pay him like $1 gazillion, and they didn't have $1 gazillion. So they called this company they heard on the radio called the Tax Doctor. And the Tax Doctor worked with Uncle Sam's people. I think they're called the IRS. And they are able to work it out so my mom and dad didn't have to pay Uncle Sam very much money at all. So now mom and dad are happy, and I'm happy too. Thanks, Tax Doctor.
If you owe $10,000 or more to the IRS or state, call now and pay less. 800-603-9359. 800-603-9359. That's 800-603-9359.
Hey, this is Raven Rogers from the University of Oregon 800 meters, NCAA, 3-time NCAA champ, art major, Spanish fluent, Houston native right here. And you're listening to The Lunch Break with KYOK.
All right, appreciate you, Raven Rogers. I got a chance to watch the American Track League over the weekend, and man, all I could think of was Raven Rogers getting ready to run in the Sochi Olympics coming up this summer. Amazing young lady, one of our first interns here, Kincaid High School, indoor-outdoor champ at Oregon University in the 800 meters. It was really fun to watch that American Track League and some of the competitors in the indoor events. Randall Cunningham's daughter ended up winning the high jump. Vashti Cunningham ended up winning the high jump. It's going to be interesting to see her compete, over the course of this summer as well. So good stuff. 281-453-1000 if you want to get in. 281-453-1000 if you want to get in, or text me 832-403-5005. That's 832-403-5005. I want to get back to University of Texas Rio Grande Valley's men's basketball coach Lou Hill. Passed away Sunday at the age of 55, right after coaching them in a game versus Texas Southern where they lost 77-75. Remember Nikki Berry, who comes on our show, been on our show a couple times. She's a singer and actress and all that. Her son plays at UT Rio Grande Valley, and I told her I was going to be covering them. But Hill, the cause of death was not announced. Hill was in the middle of his 5th season at UT Rio Grande Valley and holds an 8-4 record this season and has guided them to a 20-win season 2 years ago. I mean, great coach, but the athletic director said, words cannot describe how any of us feel right now. Everyone in our department is devastated by the news. Coach Hill was an incredible human being. He was my close friend and trusted colleague. He cared deeply about those around him, from his family to his players to his staff, and really everyone in the department at UT Rio Grande Valley. We offer our deepest condolences to Renee and Coach Hill's entire family during this unimaginable time. And I do, man. I want y'all to add your condolences and sentiments to those words spoken by the athletic director at UT Rio Grande Valley, and to Nikki Berry's son. We want to keep him lifted as well. But man, I mean, you just never know. You just never know. He coaches a game Sunday night, and hours later, he's no longer with us. It's unimaginable. That's why it doesn't make sense to get caught up in foolish debates about stuff. At the end of the day, doesn't matter. What matters is a person's life, and their life is not blue or red or green or whatever. So, man, goodness gracious. To the Schottenheimer family, to the to the Hill family, our sincere thoughts and prayers go out to y'all. Patrick Mahomes, quarterback for Kansas City, underwent surgery on his toe that was clearly bothering him in Sunday night's game. They call it turf toe. And if anybody doesn't know what it is, it's literally when your toe hyperextends past the normal part of how it normally bends the wrong way. Not down, but up. So, a lot of folks don't realize that under that artificial grass, there's usually some type of hard surface. And you can make a cut on that grass so hard that you push all the way down to that hard surface, whether it be concrete, whether it be some type of, hard rock, cement, something like that, that you hyperextend that toe to the point where it doesn't just recoil back the way it normally does. Pain, inflammation, slight tears in ligaments, what have you, all of that plays into what's called turf toe. If you never had it, you can't imagine it. So Patrick Mahomes underwent successful surgery on that turf toe and will now begin the recovery process. And as you know, with him, mobility is as key to his game as possible. It's just he's got to be able to move. Kansas City wasn't the same team without their starting tackle who got hurt in the AFC Championship game. And literally Patrick Mahomes was running for his life, made plays though, still made plays. But unfortunately, those plays didn't always get executed where he was throwing passes as he was going down and they were either tipped or dropped or whatever the case may be. But now he's trying to get healthy and try and make another run for another championship. A couple of people who there were question marks about their career. Andy Reid is definitely coming back. Bruce Arians is coming back. Tom Brady is coming back. And oh yeah, by the way, Rob Gronkowski is reportedly coming back next year. So we'll see. We'll see. It's going to be interesting. Monique, is what's happening with Deshaun the same thing that was happening with James Harden? Kinda, sort of. I guess that would be an accurate comparison. Only thing is the Texans want to handle it different, and I don't think Deshaun is going to be Deshaun is not going to go about it the way Harden went about it. When Harden sat on that podium and said, this team is not good, and I think it's unfixable. I don't see that there's any getting better. That was a shot at not just Tillman Fertitta, not just the general manager, not even just at the head coach, Steven Silas. That was at everybody. And that was a comment or a bridge too far for me from Harden. And I'm not trying to continue to beat this drum, but that's where I said, I know DeMarcus Boogie Cousins is going to say something about that. Because it's one thing for you to have your contract issue or your, relationship issues with the organization, but don't insult DeMarcus Boogie Cousins. And as soon as he did, him and John Wall confronted Harden. That's when it was, definite. He had to go. Then it was unfixable. I don't think Deshaun is in that boat. You got a lot of people that are in the Deshaun camp right now on that team. Notice how J.J. Watt hadn't said anything. He was on Deshaun. He understands where Deshaun is coming from. Notice how Whitney Merciless hadn't said anything. He understands where Deshaun is coming from. And watch this. Hear me when I say, other than those two, nobody else has a right to say anything. I better not hear from Brandon Cooks. I better not hear from, Kiki Kuti. David Johnson better not say a word. None of those guys have been there long enough to have a definitive say in Deshaun's issue and where he's going. J.J. Watt, since 2011, has been the face of the franchise. He has a right to say something. Whitney Merciless, I kind of threw him in there because he's been there for a long time as well. If Jadeveon Clowney was still here, definitely. If Kareem Jackson was still here, definitely. If DeAndre Hopkins was still here, definitely. Maybe DJ Reader, if he was still here. But anybody other than those guys? No. No, bro. Sit this one out. No comment. I'm just here so I don't get fined. I'm not saying that they don't have a right to speak. Don't understand. Don't mistake the difference between having a right to speak, say whatever's on your mind, and doing what you should be doing. You a year in, 2 years in? No. That's why it was so out of pocket when Baker Mayfield, good Lord, I kept wanting to call him Johnny Manziel. Baker Mayfield got out of pocket when he started talking about about David Johnson, Duke Johnson's contract. Bruh, you a day in the league. You can't be talking about that man's money. You a day old in the league. It's not how that works. And what happened? As soon as he did that, veterans from all over, not just his team, but around the league, got in his ear and said, "Yo, bro, sit this one out." And we didn't hear anything more about Baker Mayfield's thoughts on Duke Johnson's contract, even after he got traded. That's just unwritten rules in baseball, unwritten rules in football. Stay out of that one. You don't have enough. You have not been here long enough to have a comment about the franchise quarterback's situation with the team. If J.J. Watt doesn't have anything to say, Whitney Merciless doesn't have anything to say, nobody else should have anything to say. And trust me, if they do, you're going to have a real problem in that locker room. A real problem. I like how Garrett Jones says it. Garrett Jones said, you might say something, but football is a contact sport. I'll see you in practice. I'll bump up against you in a drill. We'll have a chance to discuss it again in a different setting that doesn't include microphones. Got to get Sybil Wilkes on with her COVID-19 update. Let me do that now right here on the lunch break on the legendary KYOK and the all-new 92.3 FM.
It's Sybil Wilkes with what you need to know today. Historic impeachment trial of Donald Trump begins today. The former president is the first to be impeached by the U.S. House for a second time. The charge against him in the second trial is inciting an insurrection during the January 6th attack by thousands of Trump supporters on the U.S. Capitol. 5 people, including a Capitol police officer, were killed. This trial is expected to take less time than the first. The first impeachment trial was completed in about 3 weeks. And just in terms of the charge, today's trial is regarded as less complex. Yesterday, Democratic lawmakers announced plans to introduce legislation that would provide American families with at least $3,000 per child as part of President Biden's almost $2 trillion coronavirus relief package. Payments would be distributed in monthly installments. According to research by Columbia University, the Biden administration's child benefits plan would lift a majority of the country's impoverished children out of poverty. Sybil Wilkes, be informed.
Hey guys, this is your girl Brandy Nelson, and you are listening to The Lunch Break on KYOK.
All right, y'all, we're back here on the lunch break on the legendary KYOK and the all-new 92.3 FM. I'm AJ Jones. It's Black History Month, Team Texas Tuesday. Let me give you a quick Black History shout-out. I know I'm wearing Kenny Washington, first Black NFL football player. But I also want to shout out Otis Taylor. Otis Taylor, who went to Worthing High School here in Houston and is a Prairie View alum. PV, was the first African American to score a touchdown in a Super Bowl. Not the AFL Bowl, not the World Bowl, but a Super Bowl when the AFL and the NFL came together. In the very first one, Green Bay ended up winning that game over Kansas City 35-10. But in the second quarter of that game, Otis Taylor became the first African American to score a touchdown in a Super Bowl. And what's interesting, again, I said this yesterday, couldn't find that anywhere. Had to go and dig in and put the research together myself and look at every single scoring play in the NFL games and came up with, right there, Otis Taylor first. But, the NFL is inspiring change. We care about black people, but you won't even properly cover their records. Be right back.
The legendary 1140 AM KYOK Conroe and 92.3 FM K222CX Houston.
The views and opinions expressed on all radio shows broadcast on KYOK are entirely those of the host, guests, and callers who are entirely responsible for all show content and do not in any way reflect the opinions of KYOK Radio, its sponsors, staff, or management.
This question. What time is it? Game time. What time is it? Game time. What time is it? Game time. What time is it? Let's go. We ready. We ready. We ready. We ready. I'm going to the house. I'm going to the house. When I step on the field, I know. I said that's exactly what I was thinking. Verbatim. This is what it feels like. I said, look at that brother. This is what it feels like. Football is getting hit. That's it. It's gonna be football. What time is it? Something else. I really do. That's true, man. They love you. Let's hunt now. Let's hunt now. Let's hunt. We ready. I'm going to the house. I'm going to the house. Talking about the Jets like we're talking about the Saints. All this, we the Miami Heat of football. Yeah. The bottom line is you got to buckle up with chin straps. It's embarrassing. Yeah. Don't disrespect the game like that. So much crying from him. He's a man. They can be a hit just like us. He's a man. You already make the big money. He's a man. I'm proud when you step on the field, man. That's who I did. When I step on the field, I send one message. This is what it feels like. Oh, my bad. You had to work in my world. What time is it? Game time. What time is it? Game time. What time is it? Game time. What time is it? Let's go. Let's go. Let's go. We ready. I'm going to the house. I'm going to the house. It's a wrap. Game over.
Now this game is going on. First hour on the books, second hour underway right here on the legendary KYOK. And glad to be hanging out with you on Black History Month and Team Texas Tuesday. Had to shout out Otis Taylor, Worthing High School alum, Prairie View A&M University alum, and first African-American to score a touchdown in a Super Bowl. We've come a long way. But, again, got to give honor where honor is due. So, again, great job, Otis Taylor, and for, of course, everybody who knew him and can give honor to him. What did I get ready to say? Oh, basketball last night. Rockets, man, they were in it the whole time till the fourth quarter. Rockets were right there with a very interesting and fun to watch Charlotte team. A lot of folks make a lot of jokes about Michael Jordan, the executive. I tell you what, he might have one of the better teams that he's ever had right now in Charlotte, and they're young. I'm just going to say it right now. If you were one of the ones, and there were plenty, who said LaMelo Ball could not play on this level, apologize. This young man became the youngest player in NBA history to have 7 3-pointers in a game. He led his team in scoring last night with 24 points, 7 rebounds, and 10 assists, and got a quality win over the Rockets. I'm just telling you, man. And for everyone who likes to make fun of his name, stop it. That's just ignorant. That's just ignorant. Don't like his dad, LeVar. Don't like, swear that he and his brother are overrated. But name me 2 brothers that are playing in the league right now in the NBA. There's only a handful of them. There's only a handful of them that ever have. And LeVar Ball was that close to having 3 sons in the NBA. I really think that, people need to go back in history and apologize to LeVar Ball. It makes sense now why he was trying to get a group deal with Nike, Reebok, whoever else for all 3 of his sons. No, LiAngelo hadn't gotten in yet, might not ever get in, but still, I get it. And when he couldn't get it, he went out and started his own. Oh, but AJ, it fell apart. He tried. He tried. Do we vilify Disney World? His first shot fell apart. Do we vilify 3M? Their first shot at the Post-it note fell apart. There's a ton of stuff that fell apart. The guy that y'all are vehemently in love with, he's our president. God sent him. How many times did his stuff fall apart? I.e. bankruptcies. Stop vilifying people because their attempt at greatness falls apart. Dude still got 2 sons in the NBA, and both of them are looking pretty good. And you don't have to compare the 2 of them either. Oh, well, LaMelo is so much better than Lonzo. So what? They're both in the NBA. They're both making a ton of bank. They're both living out their best lives, and we're sitting here watching it. Some of us are paying to watch it. Great job last night by LaMelo. Great job. I mean, young man was active all over the court, defensively, offensively. He's a little wizard with that basketball. He will put that ball in places where other teams can be great. Other teammates can be great. And Gordon Hayward has found the right spot. Gordon Hayward is a whole different dude right there in Charlotte. Gordon Hayward, 19 points on 4 of 11 shooting, 3 for 5 from 3. Again, LaMelo was 7 for 18, but 7 for 12 from 3. And then they got 19 and 10 off the bench from Miles Bridges. Loved it. Love what I see going on in Charlotte. Loving it. Rockets, again, still kind of up and down, but remember, they're still not playing certain guys in back-to-backs. John Wall did not play last night. John Wall will be in the starting lineup tonight when they take on, who they play? New Orleans tonight, I think. Get my notes here. Yeah, they're at New Orleans tonight at 6:30. John Wall will be back in the lineup. But the Rockets going into the fourth quarter only trailed by 3, 90-87, and then they got blown out 29-7 in the fourth quarter alone because Charlotte changed up that defense. Charlotte would not allow the Rockets in the paint. Charlotte was like, yeah, beat us from out here, bro, because you ain't driving. So, interesting night for the Rockets. Rockets were led by 21 by Victor Oladipo. He got 15 off the bench from Ben McLemore and 13 from Danuel House. Jashawn Tate added 13 and then 15 off the bench from McLemore. He got 9 from Cousins, 9 points, 9 rebounds. Nothing from P.J. Tucker, 0 for 3. Not 1 point from P.J. Tucker. I'm PJ, man. I'm serious, bro. I'm really looking over my shoulder because that young Jashawn Tate does everything PJ can do and score. And score consistently. PJ was hoping for a big contract. Might not get that in a Rockets uniform. I know he's a fan favorite. PJ Tucker and Trevor Ariza were two guys that I really felt like should have been getting paid for two different positions. PJ Tucker should be getting power forward money and center money. And Trevor Ariza should have been getting money at the three and every other position because he always guarded the best player for the other team no matter what position they play. He was chasing around guards and everybody. I'm Trevor Ariza, and I know why he left. I mean, you're paying other guys $20 million to sit on the bench and watch me guard the best player on other teams. Ryan Anderson was making $20 million to sit on the bench, and PJ was making a lot less than that to chase around the best player for everybody's team. PJ Tucker is another one of those guys, but when you got a guy that can do everything that he can do and score, it's going to be hard for him to get that money. All right, got to take a break. When I come back, I want to talk about those San Antonio Spurs. They cooled off a pretty good Golden State team last night. We'll talk about that next right here on the lunch break. Legendary KYOK and the all-new 92.3 FM.
Hi, my name is Lily. My mom and dad used to fight about money all the time. Then one day, I heard them talking about this guy, some uncle I never knew, called Uncle Sam. Well, they say this Uncle Sam guy wanted them to pay him like $1 gazillion, and they didn't have $1 gazillion. So they called this company they heard on the radio called the Tax Doctor. And the Tax Doctor worked with Uncle Sam's people. I think they're called the IRS. And they are able to work it out so my mom and dad didn't have to pay Uncle Sam very much money at all. So now mom and dad are happy, and I'm happy too. Thanks, Tax Doctor.
If you owe $10,000 or more to the IRS or state, call now and pay less. 800-603-9359. 800-603-9359. That's 800-603-9359. Here's an important COVID-19 school system update for your local area. If you're concerned about your child's education, please pay close attention to this message. The current school systems were not set up for at-home learning. If you're worried that your child may not be getting the grades they need to get ahead, may be losing self-confidence, or you're worried about them getting into a good college because of their grades, help is available to you. Call Grade Potential Tutoring. They can help with in-home or online tutoring and help your child with any subject at every grade level, even for test prep. They're experts in the home tutoring and online tutoring field and confident they can help you and your child get better grades today. Call now for your free consultation. 800-580-7680. 800-580-7680. 800-580-7680. That's 800-580-7680. I am a non-attorney spokesperson representing a team of lawyers who've helped people that have been injured or wronged. Have you been diagnosed with cancer? Are you one of the millions who have taken Zantac or other generic versions of this popular drug to help treat stomach issues? Then pay close attention to this message. The FDA said it detected low levels of a probable cancer-causing chemical known as NDMA in Zantac and other generic forms of this popular drug. They've banned sales and even removed it from the market. If you've been diagnosed with cancer and you've taken Zantac or a generic equivalent, call the legal helpline now. You could receive a free cash award and have your medical expenses covered. And there's no upfront cost to you. They only get paid if you win. So please call now. 800-251-7816. 800-251-7816. 800-251-7816. That's 800-251-7816.
The legendary KYOK 1140 AM and 92.3 FM. The legend continues.
You're listening to The Lunch Break on KYOK.
All right, y'all, back here on the lunch break on the legendary KYOK and the all-new 92.3 FM. I'm AJ Jones, and I got to give love to one of my sisters in the business. Renee P. Washington. Renee P. Washington just announced that on her show Beyond the Headlines with Renee Washington, she is going to be interviewing one of my favorite former NFL players of all time, and that is Marquette King. Marquette King led the NFL in punting yards in 2014 and is no longer in the league. In fact, that was one of John Gruden's casualties, if you will. Ridiculous. Absolutely ridiculous. I have since gotten a whole lot of additional information on why Marquette King could possibly be out of the league. And anytime you want to tell me it's based on merit, let me tell you something. When you lead the league in punting, like almost a 47-yard average on all of your punts, Mr. Coffin Corner himself can get it inside the 10-yard line when it's down near the goal line, and this dude is no longer in the league. Yeah, man. Yeah. So congratulations, Renee P. Washington, on our show, but Beyond the Headlines with Renee Washington. She's going to be interviewing. Again, former punter Marquette King, HBCU guy too. Man, really, really excited about that. I'm going to be tuned into that one. I want to hear what he has to say. He and I have communicated a couple times on Twitter, hadn't been able to lock down an interview. I'm glad she got him. I'm going to be tuned in on that one like it's another episode of Game of Thrones. Like it's the original Power, not this new stuff they got out. I ain't into that new one. Listen, I didn't like Tariq when he had a dad alive. I certainly don't like him when he's the cause of his dad's death. No. So anyway, had to get that in. San Antonio Spurs last night did what I didn't think that they could do, but they did it. They got it done. They cooled off a red-hot Golden State Warriors team who had been smoking folks. Golden State beat the Dallas Mavericks by almost by 50. Almost by 50. And San Antonio clamped that Spurs defense on them and slowed them down, held them to 100 points. And Kelly Oubre didn't go off for 40 like he did in the Dallas game. Steph Curry had 32, but they held Draymond Green to 7 points on 3 of 11 shooting. And I've always said, before they got Kevin Durant, as Draymond Green went, so went the Golden State Warriors. Everybody was talking about the Splash Brothers, Steph and Clay, but I'm telling you, Draymond Green was the driving force of that team. And they shut him down. 7 points, 10 rebounds, 10 assists, and they gave up, 24 to Oubre, 32 to Curry. They even held Wiggins to 11 on 4 of 12 shooting, and nobody off the bench had more than 6. So San Antonio put some good old-fashioned defense on a red-hot Golden State Warrior team and beat them 105 to 100. And again, there are a couple of names on the San Antonio Spurs that a lot of folks don't know about. And again, DeMar DeRozan, he's playing better than I've seen him play in a long time. Like, this is reminiscent of his days back in Toronto, what DeMar DeRozan is doing this year. He had 21 and 10 last night. 10 assists, by the way. But DeJounte Murray, when they drafted DeJounte Murray, I said, watch that young man. Watch him. Tall, lanky, length, point guard. Oh, yeah. Doesn't have the speed of Tony Parker, but has a whole different kind of thing. And last night he put up 27 and 10, and the 10 were rebounds. When you got a point guard that can rebound like that, you got something. Jakob Poeltl put up what he had last night. He had 14 and 11. In their starting lineup alone, the Spurs had 21, 27, 33, 35 rebounds in their starting lineup alone. That's what's up. That'll get you wins right there. That'll get you wins. That's opportunities right now. Starting lineup, they had 27 out of Murray, 21 from DeRozan, 14 from Pirtle, 9 from Johnson, and then off the bench, the young man that they drafted, Devin Vassell, had 10, 2 for 2 from 3, and then they got 11 from Rudy Gay, 9 from Patty Mills. Very well-rounded effort. Those are Greg Popovich coach teams. That's Greg Popovich, his fingerprint all over it. Play good defense, high-quality shots, move the ball. You know, keep the other team on their one way to beat Golden State is to make them play defense. One way. I didn't say it was the only way. Make them expend energy on the defensive end of the ball. And I know Golden State has had one of the best defenses under Steve Kerr ever. They know how to play defense. But when you make them play defense for 60 minutes or 48 minutes, however long the game is, you know, you're making them have fewer chance and tougher legs when it comes to shooting those shots. Good win by the Spurs. Good win by the Spurs. All right, got to take another break. When we come back, I'll break down the Mavs win. They had to hold on for it last night, and it was fun. I literally watched the game through the coverage of our own I Am Valencia King. That's how I kept up with the Mavs last night. So I'll read you some of her comments and her tweets last night about the game next, right here on the lunch break on the legendary KYOK. Segment brought to you by Global Tax.
Are you looking for a tax company that will get you the maximum credits and deductions, or a tax company that can get you a same-day loan up to $9,500? Well, Global One Tax Services on 6002 Antoine Drive is the tax company that is dedicated to getting you your maximum refund. Call us for an appointment or for our mobile services. That's right, Global One Tax is now mobile. Now, you don't have to leave your home. Call 281-377-5565. That's 281-377-5565. Get your full return. You deserve it. You've earned it. Global One Tax Services. Get ready, get set, go global.
Hi, I'm Linda J. I recently purchased 4 new tires from OMG Tires and More, located at 3124 Tidwell between 59 and Jensen. TK got me in and out in less than 30 minutes. While there, I got my car washed. Do you need rims for your car? OMG has them too. OMG Tires and More is your one-stop shop for all your tire needs. So give them a call at 832-767-3211. That's 832-767-3211. Conveniently located at 3124 Tidwell between 59 and Jensen on the north side.
Here's an important COVID-19 school system update for your local area. If you're concerned about your child's education, please pay close attention to this message. The current school systems were not set up for at-home learning. If you're worried that your child may not be getting the grades they need to get ahead, may be losing self-confidence, or you're worried about them getting into a good college because of their grades, help is available to you. Call Grade Potential Tutoring. They can help with in-home or online tutoring and help your child with any subject and every grade level, even for test prep. They're experts in the home tutoring and online tutoring field and confident they can help you and your child get better grades today. Call now for your free consultation.
Hope you're doing well.
800-580-7680. 800-580-7680. 800-580-7680. That's 800-580-7680.
The legendary KYOK 1140 AM. The legendary KYOK 92.3 FM. 2 radio stations in one.
I'm Larry Scott, host of the Not So Christian and Me Show. Join me Saturdays for great fun, interviews, music, and the latest news surrounding our world today. We are the show that cares to hear your voice and opinion.
Good to see you, Leo.
Real conversation in a no judgment zone. So join me Saturdays from 1 to 2 p.m. on the Not So Christian and Me Show, right here on the legendary KYOK Radio, 1140 AM, and the all-new 92.3 FM at KYOKradio.org.
The Lunch Break on the legendary KYOK.
All right, y'all, we're back here on the lunch break on the legendary KYOK and the all-new 92.3 FM. It is Black History Month and Team Texas Tuesday. Broke down the Rockets game, broke down the Spurs game, and last night, my niece, like no other, was doing her thing, and I'm talking about I Am Valencia King from Real Talk Sports was covering that Mavericks game as they took on Minnesota. Real quick, let me shout out to Harold Williams Jr., Shamik Brumfield, appreciate you tuning in, Nicholas Hines, and Lady Queen Leah Brown, all tuning in. Appreciate y'all making time out of your busy schedule to join the show. Keith Hennig said, believe in Pop. Yeah, Pop coached him one up last night. I liked every bit of that. That was all Pop. Well, I won't say, when I say all Pop, I don't mean it like nobody else had any input. I'm talking about Pop style. That's what that was last night. In fact, let me stick to what I said earlier. Coach Pop and them, they Todd Bowles the Golden State Warriors. You know, because putting good defense on somebody now affectionately is known as Todd Bowlesing. Yeah, Todd Bowlesing when you put good defense on somebody. When they can't figure you out defensively, you Todd Bowles them. Yep, I'm using that, and that's me. That's copywritten by me. Don't let nobody steal my stuff. You know I'm gonna have a shirt on tomorrow, and don't make me Todd Bowles you. That's my stuff. That's what after I'm long gone, y'all remember my the stuff I came up with. Give me my due. All right, so last night, Valencia King covering the Rockets and the Mavericks. Heading into the fourth quarter, she tweeted, heading into the fourth quarter, the Dallas Mavericks lead Minnesota 95-77. Up by 18. And then an hour later, she said, oh, wow, a 20-point lead vanishing before our eyes. Then after that, she said, survey says I thought I was right when she was talking about the challenge. Will the challenge be successful? I think so. And then it said, however, Timberwolves missed both free throws, so ball don't lie. And then she tweeted, well, with a minute and 18 seconds left in the game, the Mavericks lead 123-118. Let's see how this plays out. A few minutes later, and again, first name Jay, last name Rich. And then she closed it out with Mavs win. It was so fun watching her cover that game via Twitter. She got in and did some interviews after the game. She quoted Rick Carlisle and said, the fourth quarter is pretty much simple. We've got to do a better job closing out games. And then Carlisle also said, right now, we've got to do whatever we can to win games. Great job by Valencia. Great job by Valencia King covering the Mavericks game. Mavericks held on for a 127-122 win over Minnesota. So good job there. If you are a baseball fan, let me give you this update real quick. Major League Baseball and the union have agreed to the rules, how they're going to handle themselves going into this season. Remember last year, I think what they do, 60 games. Gosh, I wish they had gone back to that. 162 is way too many. That 60-game season was nice. So guess what? They're going to play 162 games this year, but they will have double headers that will only be 7 innings long. 7-inning double headers. And they're going to use the contact tracing that the NBA is using, so they feel like they can cut down on some of the exposure to COVID-19. We'll see how that works out. NBA is kind of running into some bumps in the road, if you will, as they try to get 72 games play. And, of course, they won't be doing a bubble. The Major League Baseball will not be doing a bubble. What they did decide, they will not use a universal designated hitter. So National League teams, your pitchers got to hit. When you play at home versus American League teams, the American League pitchers have to hit. And then when the National League teams go to the American League ballparks, they have to have a DH. They did not agree to go with a universal DH. One thing I like about baseball, the union is very strong in baseball. I've said this before. I think the union in football is the weakest of the three major sports: football, baseball, and basketball. The union in football is the weakest of the three major sports. Basketball number 2, baseball number 1. I don't know what it is about the football union. I'm really not trying to talk bad about DeMaurice Smith. I don't know if he's the right guy for the job, especially, given what Gene Upshaw did in that position. But DeMaurice Smith has been a little underwhelming for me. And again, no shade at most of the players. A lot of the players don't take the issues as serious as they should and don't keep their eye on the players that came before them as much as they should. A lot of them are just, how does this affect me? And, oh, yeah, that's not my problem. And to me, it's the union's job to get those guys as updated and as involved and as engaged as possible. Just me. But baseball, Major League Baseball, and their union have let the baseball owners know, here's what we're doing. Playing 162 of them, shorter doubleheaders, using the basketball method of contact tracing, and not doing universal DHs. Not doing universal DHs. Some other stuff in there, but those are the highlights. So we'll see how things go. I'm going to have my eye on the Astros over these 162 games. We saw what they did with 60 of them. Let me see what they do with a full season. Without George Springer. Who are they going to replace Springer with? Don't forget that lawsuit is still out there that alleged guys like Justin Verlander, and some of the other, Max Scherzer and some of the other guys were using doctored up solution to manipulate baseball. So let's see what that looks like if that comes to fruition. So there you go. That's your baseball update. I don't do a whole lot of those. See if there's any other news out there. Breaking news out there. Okay, so the end of year NFL power rankings are out. I can't stand the guy that put them together, but let me see what he's talking about. Number 1, of course, Tampa Bay. Number 2, Kansas City. Number 3, Green Bay. Number 4, Buffalo. Number 5, Seattle. Number 6, the Saints. Number 7, Pittsburgh. Number 8, Baltimore. Number 9, the Colts. Number 10, Cleveland. Number 11, Tennessee. Number 12, the Rams. Number 13, Chicago. Yeah, this is trash. He's got Chicago at 8-8, Washington 7-9, over the Miami Dolphins at 10-6. That's trash. I'm not going to read any more of that. I'll tell you who that was. Pete Prisco. Trash. Not saying he's trash. I'm saying the rankings are trash. No rhyme, no reason. Again, Miami Dolphins are an organization that's doing it the right way. I mean, in a year where they could have tanked, Brian Flores said, I'm not having any of that. And he started coaching his guys up to win. And guess what they did? They won games. This year, they were one win away or another team's loss away from making the playoffs, and Pete Prisco rewards them by putting them behind the Bears and the Washington football team. And again, I got no shade against the Washington football team and their head coach, especially given what he went through off the field. But you're glorifying a 7-9 team over a 10-6 team. 7-9, when 7-9 is better than 10-6, you're doing something wrong. You're doing something wrong. This dude was 7-9 in a horrible division. You had a team that was 10-6 and played Buffalo twice, played New England twice, and they played the Jets twice, amongst others. And they were 10-6. And you rate them below a 7-9 team? That's trash, bro. That's trash. That's trash. I'm not going another step in this. Nothing. I just want to know who he thought the worst team was. He made the Jaguars 32, Jets 31, and they're the Texans at 30. Oh, how the mighty have fallen. Oh, how the mighty have fallen. Remember when the Texans were in the top 15, top 10, top 12? Back before they start giving away their players for free. Where does this dude have the Cowboys? Where does he have them? 23rd. 23rd behind the Broncos, the Giants, and the Vikings. Yeah. Let me pull this down. No sense in watching that again. Howard University has canceled their basketball season, bringing an anticlimactic end to the season of Makur Maker, the five-star athlete that chose Howard over PWI schools. They were getting hit hard with COVID, and they were 1-4 and had not played since December 18th. And again, they decided to err on the side of caution for the players and their health. And somebody said to me when I put out my power ranking for the HBCUs earlier this week, AJ, if they can barely play their basketball games, what makes you think that they'll be able to play their football games in the spring? Basketball's indoors, football's outdoors. Basketball's indoors, football's outdoors. Not saying that it's, you can't have COVID with outdoor events. You can, but it's a little different. You got a better shot with outdoor games than you do with indoor arena games. So we'll see. We'll see how it goes. So, Howard University deciding to cancel the rest of their basketball season. All right, what else I got? Oh, yeah, the investigators into the helicopter crash of Kobe Bryant, Gianna, and 7 other people earlier last year have made a determination. The National Transportation and Safety Board are saying that they're saying that it was due to the pilot violating federal flight standards. Ara Zabayan flew through thick fog and likely became disoriented, which led to the fatal crash, the chairman of the NTSB said during a hearing to uncover the cause of the accident. He said Zabayan was flying under visual flight rules, meaning it was a necessity to see where he was going during his flight. Said that the helicopter encountered thick fog, making it difficult to see. The pilot tried to fly above the fog and the layers of clouds, and as he almost broke through, the aircraft suddenly plunged and slammed down in towards the hills, killing everyone aboard. So there you go. That's the official ruling. Man, that's sobering. That's sobering, and it doesn't make me pray less for the Zabayan family. I believe with everything that was in me that this man had no intention of costing the lives of not only himself but everybody else on that helicopter. You know, that's just how, unfortunately, things happen sometimes. One bad decision or costly mistake can be just that, costly, and the price could be the lives of that person and others. You know, it definitely doesn't make it easier for anyone involved, not just Kobe's family, but you know, the family of Christina Mauser, the family of, you know, the others that were involved. So let me take a break. Get ready to wrap it up. This segment brought to you by Lily and the Tax Doctor. Right here on the lunch break on the legendary KYOK and the all-new 92.3 FM.
No, I won't 1140 AM and 92.3 FM. The legendary KYOK.
Hi, my name is Lily. My mom and dad used to fight about money all the time. Then one day, I heard them talking about this guy, some uncle I never knew, called Uncle Sam. Well, they say this Uncle Sam guy wanted them to pay him like $1 gazillion, and they didn't have $1 gazillion. So they called this company they heard on the radio called the Tax Doctor. And the Tax Doctor worked with Uncle Sam's people. I think they're called the IRS. And they're able to work it out so my mom and dad didn't have to pay Uncle Sam very much money at all. So now mom and dad are happy, and I'm happy too. Thanks, Tax Doctor.
If you owe $10,000 or more to the IRS or state, call now and pay less. 800-603-9359. 800-603-9359. That's 800-603-9359.
It's the lunch break on KYOK.
All right, y'all. Back here on the lunch break on the legendary KYOK and the all-new 92.3 FM. It is our Black History Month and Team Texas Tuesday. And, hey, man, a lot of comments coming in about different stuff. Big Time Floyd. What's up, Big Time Floyd? Says, hello, AJ and the Breakers. Will someone explain to me why Kansas City fans are now crying about the game being fixed and lost money picking the wrong team? Give the Bucks credit for simply outplaying the Chiefs. 7 rings for the GOAT. Who's the GOAT? Robert Horry? He's got 7 rings. Who's the GOAT? Big Time Floyd? Robert Horry? He's got 7 rings. Oh, you talking about Bill Russell? The Minister of Defense? No, that was Reggie White. You talking about Bill Russell? I mean, he got 11. Who's the GOAT? I am not saying that the referees stole the game from Kansas City or fixed the game in favor of Tampa Bay. I will say this. There was a phase of the game where the referees were in full control. There was no flow in the play or the action. It was all being controlled by the referees. And that is that's unfortunate. That's unfortunate. I'm not saying that you don't call the fouls. I'm not saying that you don't call the penalties. But as frequent as the penalties were being called for that segment of the game, it was unfortunate to everyone. The players, the fans, everyone. And in a game, you don't ever want the referees to be the most noticeable part of any game, sport, you name it. Baseball, football, basketball, tennis. You don't ever want the referees to be the most noticeable thing. It kind of reminded me of the days of Phil Jackson with the LA Lakers when Phil would work the refs, or before the game, he would tell the refs to look out for certain things with certain teams, and the refs called that like instantly every time they saw it in that particular team. It killed the flow of the game for me. Obviously, someone had said, hey, Kansas City likes to hold offensively and defensively in the secondary and on the offensive line, because almost every time there was in that segment a holding penalty defensively, offensively, there was a turnover. There was an interception by Tyrann Mathieu that was overturned by a holding call. Later in the game, there was a turnover, interception by Tampa Bay. And I dare say, if you had looked at every single receiver, tight end, running back that came out of the back, somebody might have looked like they got held. They didn't call that. I'm not saying that's what cost Kansas City the game. They got outplayed by Tampa Bay. They got Todd Bowled. They got Todd Bowled. There was a defensive plan in place that stopped Kansas City from doing what they wanted to do. But it doesn't change the fact that there was a segment of the game when the referees were way too visible. And I'll also say this, and no shade at Antonio Wingfield Jr. from Woodlands High School. Dad played at the Ohio State University. If the NFL is serious about stopping taunting in the league, don't make that a post-foul injury. I mean, a post-play foul. In other words, Wingfield taunted Tyreek Hill because Tyreek Hill apparently taunted him the last time they met in a game. They called the penalty, but because the penalty happened after the play, it was still Tampa's ball, half the distance to the goal line. You want to stop taunting? Let that be 1st and 10 Kansas City, 15 yards down the field. Now, instead of high-fiving from coaches, you'll have coaches grabbing face masks saying, don't do that again. Let our play on the scoreboard do the talking. Saw an interview with Wingfield after the game, and he was like, yeah, man, I had to get that one in. I felt glad that I was able to tell him and shoot the peace sign at him. Wrong message. Wrong. And I would feel the same way if it was Hill doing it to Wingfield in that game. And again, it was the same result. If you want to get taunting out of the game, then make it painful to taunt. That 15 yards didn't mean anything right there. Nothing. That's what I'm saying. If you're going to put rules in place to change the behavior, then put a real rule in place with real teeth, real pain, real something that, oh man, I hate that. It's like the rule for the fumble through the end zone. If you're a running back and you can't securely put the ball over the plane and you possibly might fumble it through the end zone, error on the side of caution, because if you fumble that ball and it goes through the end zone, the other team gets it on their own 20 and they're going the other direction. That's the most painful play in football. I mean, that one is the most costly penalty, or now, it's not even a penalty. It's costly. It's the most costly play in football. But I'll stand by that myself, and I'm not a conspiracy theorist when it comes to the NFL. I don't think that the NFL is rigged. I got a friend who has a podcast, very good podcast, and they had a former Super Bowl champion on there, like literally saying, oh, the league is rigged, the games are rigged, the Super Bowls are rigged. I'm sorry, I love that person's podcast, but I ain't watching a drop of that. Anybody ever watch the X-Files? That show, the original one, not that other stuff that they came out with. I'm talking about the original with Scully and Mulder. What was the cigarette man's name? The guy who smoked the cigarettes? I'll never forget the episode when he talked about, the Illuminati that was running the world, and they would get together and they would decide on everything. And I'll never forget when they said, are we going to finally let the Red Sox win the World Series? And Mr. Smokeman said, yeah, let them win. It was hilarious. It was hilarious. It's like that movie Soul. Remember the movie Soul just came out? The movie Soul, where the soul said, oh yeah, I've been messing with this team all my life. And it was the New York Knicks. And she was causing baskets to get missed and players to trip and fall. All I'm saying is I don't think that the NFL is rigged. I don't think that they were trying to assure Tom Brady of a championship, his 7th NFL championship. I don't believe that. But I can also not believe that and believe that the referees were way too involved in the game during that segment. And I can't honestly say that they called that game evenly, because they were praising Rob Gronkowski for blocking. And when they highlighted and slowed down his block, there was some holding going on. It's like, oh yeah, great hold, not great block. They didn't call that. They praised it. I'll also say this, and I know y'all won't like it. He's a Houston guy. I went to the University of Houston. Jim Nantz is not the great announcer that everybody says he is. He's just not. He might have a great sounding voice, but when you put him next to Tony Romo, you see just how not as deep and as knowledgeable Jim Nantz is as you think he is. Might be great in golf, might be great in another sport, but Jim Nantz and football, U of H guy was a little light on it. He made a comment that Tyreek Hill had only had 1 catch for 5 yards. A few plays before that, Tyreek Hill had a catch on the goal line for about 15 yards. It's like, yo, Jim, you paying attention to the same game, or what are you doing there? And I know he's called multiple Super Bowls, but just because you do something over and over again doesn't make you an expert at it. I wish they could do in football like they do with the referees, where you take the best of the best and put them together in a crew. It would not have been bad to be able to pull a best announcer, even if it was from another broadcast network, and put them up with Tony Romo. I'm just saying. I mean, there are a lot of these guys. I don't want to keep quoting Slim Thug, but there are a lot of these guys that we say is the best and the GOAT and the this and the that, and they're really not. And as soon as you put them up against somebody more knowledgeable, or somebody with more personality, or somebody who, has the right flow and the right ebb, you see just how mundane they really are. I don't even know who I would have rather heard with Romo, but it wasn't Jim Nantz. Jim Nantz was a drag on the night, and it was, oh yeah, by the way, kind of a boring game unless you were a Tampa Bay fan. And Jim Nantz did very little to add excitement to it. Romo, yeah, kind of. But Nantz, wasn't his better work. Was not his better work. So, kind of interesting. Yeah, CBS couldn't get Collinsworth and Michaels. That's what I'm saying. The NFL owns it all. It's their product. So if the NFL sets CBS, NBC, ABC, and ESPN down and said, all right, in order to carry our product, when it comes to the Super Bowl, we get to pick who we want calling our game. So if we want to take someone from ABC and from CBS, that's what we want to do. Where else are they going to go? What else are they going to do? They have no choice. The NFL can literally control that. And if they do it with their referees, why can't they do it with their booth crew? I mean, seriously, if you want to make it an entertainment event for everyone, pull the best of the best on the commentating. Al Michaels and Tony Romo might not have been a bad group. That might not have been a bad deal at all. It's one game. It's one game. Pull your best. You put your best referee crew together. Put your best commentators together. Just me. Just me. All right. Oh, wow. Willie Gibson. I love this dude. Willie Gibson is always on it. Willie Gibson put side by side the taunt from Tyreek Hill on Winfield. Tyreek Hill is running a touchdown and he's deucing Winfield. And then in the game, after Winfield broke up the pass with Hill, Winfield gets in his face and holds the deuce. I'm not saying that either is right. What I'm saying is if they want to get taunting out of the game, what they got to do is they got to make that not a post-play foul, but an in-play foul. So, for instance, if after the play is over and they rough the quarterback, the ball would go over to the other team. I think I'm right about that. I could be wrong, but I think I'm right about that. But anyway, it ain't gonna happen, so I can save time on. But I love Willie Gibson. Can I just do a love fest before I go? Willie Gibson, Chris Gardner, Garrett Jones, David Grubb. There are a few others. Colleagues of mine, love them. Love them. Man to man, love them. Love my sisters, don't get it wrong, but I love those brothers as well. Thanks, Willie, as always. All right, let me get ready to get out of here. Don't forget African Imports. Got all your Black History Month gear for you. Masks as low as $4.99. Dashikis, $14.99 and up for the kids. $29.99 for the adults. $39.99 for women's dresses. And you get 10% off your purchase when you mention KYOK at African Imports, right there in the Greenspoint Mall near the food court. 281-875-0056. 281-875-0056. Also, it's tax season, and Global One Tax Service wants to be your tax preparer. They'll come to your home, or you can get your taxes prepared in other ways. Call Shannon Hinton, 281-377-5565. That's 281-377-5565. Tell her AJ sent you over at Global One Tax. All right, let's get ready to go. Donnie McClurkin up next with the Donnie McClurkin Show. He'll give you the best in gospel music, latest in the gospel music industry. Donnie does his thing every Monday through Friday from 2 to 3. In the morning, you got Erica Campbell and Griff, and then your boy will be back with Winning Wednesday and more Black History. Again, got a shout out to Kenny Washington as the first Black NFL player back in 1946. Big shout out to Otis Taylor. First Black man to score a touchdown in a Super Bowl back in Super Bowl 51. Green Bay beat Kansas City 35-10. All right, that'll do it for me. As always, let's not be divided. Let's be united. I love you. There's nothing you can do about it. Wear your mask, wash your hands, sanitize everything around you. Be sensitive to everybody around you when you see them give them their 6 feet. And when you see that racism, kill it. Not the person, but the racism. All right, y'all. I'll talk to y'all tomorrow.
What you need to know today, the historic impeachment trial of Donald Trump begins today. The former president is the first to be impeached by the U.S. House for a second time. The charge against him in the second trial is inciting an insurrection during the January 6th attack by thousands of Trump supporters on the U.S. Capitol. 5 people, including a Capitol police officer, were killed. This trial is expected to take less time than the first. The first impeachment trial was completed in about 3 weeks. And just in terms of the charge, today's trial is regarded as less complex. Yesterday, Democratic lawmakers announced plans to introduce legislation that would provide American families with at least $3,000 per child as part of President Biden's almost $2 trillion coronavirus relief package. Payments would be distributed in monthly installments. According to research by Columbia University, the Biden administration's child benefits plan would lift a majority of the country's impoverished children out of poverty. I'm Sybil Wilkes. Be informed.
The legendary 1140 AM KYOK Conroe and 92.3 FM K222CX Houston. Are you ready?
All right, y'all. I am definitely ready. I hope y'all enjoyed the show. I enjoyed y'all as always. Great calls, great comments. Y'all please have a great rest of your day. And just know this, I love you for free. All right? Y'all take care. We'll talk to you tomorrow.